Jupiter is often called in modern astrology the Santa Claus of the zodiac, but in the ancient world, Jupiter had a lot to do with what is personally meaningful to us, our personal truth, and how our individual beliefs and constructs of the world help us make sense and coherence and an organized version and understanding of ourselves and the world so that we can function in it. And Saturn is interested, of course, in the forms that we then create in our lives by virtue of those Jupiterian principles and beliefs that each of us hold. It's the way we conceptualize them and express them personally in our lives that Saturn will help us manifest. Hi, I'm Amy Rose White. I'm an integrative psychotherapist and astrologer making YouTube videos on self-healing strategies that align with the astrological transits. See my free resource linked below, as well as my booking calendar. So on August 31st, we have another seeding moment in the Jupiter-Saturn cycle. And when astrologers talk about planetary cycles, what they were referring to is the closing of a cycle where there's a new one that starts when two planets conjoin. And then they have an opening, they actually have an opening sextile, but they'll have an opening square and an opening trine, then an opposition, then a closing trine, a closing square. And the cycle begins again in a different sign. And for us, the last Saturn-Jupiter cycle began in the very last degrees, 29 degrees of Capricorn in December of 2020. So we all know that a lot of beliefs and structures and forms have changed for the entire world since that time. In August of 2024, they met again in a square between Cancer and Aries, and now a trine with Jupiter in Leo and Saturn still in Aries. So in this time frame, since the beginning of this last cycle in 2020, there's been a lot of chicken or the egg conversations about how the changes in the environment and the outside world led to the form, Saturn, led to a change in our beliefs. That's been true for so many people since COVID times. Or has our beliefs changed on their own organically, and that influences the forms we create in our lives? Really, it's both. So the trine is going to highlight for us where are we seeing that in our lives in the Leo and Aries area in our charts. In this time frame, you might have changed your beliefs to the point that you realized you don't want to live in your same country anymore, or you don't want to belong to the same political affiliation, or perhaps there's a family member that you need to have a different kind of relationship with. There might have been a lot of Saturnian release in the Capricorn areas of a chart where the conjunction originally happened that has brought us to a point of reflection and really concrete change where we either realize that an old dream or an old version of us had come to a completion. The square in August of 2024 would have really highlighted that, where there's just so much friction between what is true for us and what's actually happening in our lives. And the trine now, where we're likely to actually see, and this is what I want you to focus on for the week that the transit will be really active, is where can I actually celebrate the things I've created that might be vastly different than the structures in the Capricorn area of my chart, or even the Cancer area of my chart just a few short years ago. Six since the initial conjunction and 2 since the last square. The trine can often be a moment of celebration, a moment to really integrate and to appreciate the hard work Saturn that we've likely put into the Leo and Aries areas of our chart, and probably Capricorn as well. Integration is not talked about enough in the healing and transformation community, whether that's mental health or spirituality or what have you. But it's one of the most essential aspects of really just being human, which is to make sure we don't stay on a wheel of constant self-improvement and addiction to. It's become very popularized in the self-help landscape of like future self. You know, there's nothing wrong with imagining and visualizing who and how you want to be in the future, but our identities are created right now, and making choices that not only serve who we are right now, but really love, adore, and honor who we are today, even if that's a weight we don't want to be, a habit we still have, a relationship we're struggling to end, mental self-talk that's not serving us. It's a lot to be said for taking time to allow and receive what has been learned, what has been lived, what we have survived, and how far we've come, and to really let go a bit and allow the enoughness that is here today. It doesn't mean we don't have more ambitions and dreams, but a trine can really be a wonderful time to soak it all in and actually receive the blessings, the manifestations, the tangible things I can see and hear and feel and touch, Saturn, that I've created through not only hard work, but a shift in my own ideology and philosophy. That's very Jupiterian. How have I actually created a life that reflects more internal order for me? It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, by the way. Jupiter is definitely considered with both, is interested in both inner and outer coherence. But what helps us to feel safe is not going to be the same as the person next to us. What helps us to feel like things are right and just in our world, Jupiter, that's not going to be the same as our neighbor. So I invite you this transit to really appreciate how far you've come, to drink in the fruits of your labors. If you aren't experiencing at least some of that in the Capricorn, Aries, and Leo parts of your chart, you probably are going to see that manifest as this transit completes and into the week of the 31st. And to really give yourself a pat on the back. You've done great. So your meditation for this transit is really look at those areas of your chart. Where have I been? How far have I come? What have I been willing to risk, commit to, sacrifice for? What has actually changed? And what can I appreciate in this moment? Your mirror work for the transit is look into the mirror, left eye, tall spine, deep breath. You can be proud of how far you've come. And your mantra for the transit is, I am a powerful creator. Thanks so much for being here, for liking, sharing, subscribing. See my booking links below, as well as a bunch of free resources. If you liked this video, you'll like these above me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.